Now I have the very exciting job of introducing to you our new adult representative, Toni Goucher, and her family. Stand with me? Sure. Okay. This amazing young lady has been part of the Easter Seals family since she was 2 years old in our early supports and services. 20 years later, Toni is part of our Easter Seals community-based services program and is looking forward to a career working with children. To accomplish that goal, with the support of her program coordinator, Rebecca Brasley, and her direct support professional, Tori Estupinan, Toni is busy getting ready for work and volunteering in this field. Toni currently works at a daycare center and has been at this position for 2 years, right?
Yeah, 2 years.
Mm-hmm. She's an integral part of the services provided to the children at the center, and she has many different duties there, from preparing all of the children's snacks, to interacting with the children and assisting the teachers. When Toni is not working with children, she's volunteering in our Easter Seals Daycare Center, and she has a variety of duties in that position as well. Toni is very kind and caring and is a joy to be around. She loves to shop for clothes and jewelry, especially rings.
Yep.
And she loves to sing, and she loves turtles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she has her turtle necklace. Toni's infectious smile and laugh and amazing personality makes her a favorite with children and adults. We are so excited that for the next 2 years, Toni and her parents, Cindy and Tom, her sister Lila, and her sister Kyra and Sky, who are not able to be with us tonight, will be representing Easter Seals and sharing their story with us. Here's a video to get to know them better.
When Toni was 2 or 3, she still wasn't walking at that point. She did not start walking until she turned 4.
The services came to our house, and that made Toni feel really comfortable because it was in our home environment and not a strange environment, so she could focus more on, her services, speech, OT, and PT.
With Easter Seals providing the services and more importantly in the house, it made it convenient for us and for Toni, but it also allowed her skills to build up. When Toni was approaching 21, and we had to start planning for her adulthood, we talked to different agencies, and Easter Seals was one of the agencies that was brought up. It just seemed like it was the right choice for Toni. It gave her the right amount of independence, but it also gave us the right amount of comfort as parents, knowing that she's going to be in good hands, during the day when she's out and about.
With Easter Seals, she gets up, she's jumping around, she knows what days she's working, what days she's volunteering. She just seems like she gets so much out of it, and she's learning.
A lot of the programs that are offered, typically, if you will, at a school, were things where they wanted to have the children go to places and work at a restaurant or work at a store and stock things or bag things and stuff. And it's not that those aren't good skills to have, but for Toni, that wasn't going to work for her. She wouldn't enjoy it. On 2 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays, she works at a daycare. It's a paying job for like 3 or 4 hours, I think it is, each day. The other day she volunteers at daycares through Easter Seals.
Every day it seems like she does more and makes us laugh more and communicates better. It's such a good feeling as a parent to be able to let go, right, and be able to say, okay, she's an adult now and she's gonna be successful and continue to thrive and grow.
Toni is hilarious. We constantly sing in the car. She's a bright, happy person all the time. Wherever we go, she's very friendly. Toni likes to talk to her other peers. She's confident and happy, and she's really awesome.
Do you like Tori?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she's smart, she's strong, Like Superwoman.
Like Superwoman? Yeah.
It's so sweet that she's able to form those bonds that she wouldn't be able to form if she was just home with me all day.
Yes.
You know, she has a fulfilling regular life. I don't even know what the future holds for her. I know it's going to be a lot.
Right.
She's already exceeded everything that people have told us she could do or would be able to do. We're just
Yes.
going to keep going.
Hi, my name is Tom Goucher, Tony's dad, as you probably saw in the video. I'm a little bit under the gun here because I was told I have 4 minutes, but then before I came up here, my father, who's getting hard of hearing in the older years, said talk slowly. So I'll still try to keep it within the 4 minutes, though. Being a parent, or making the decision to be a parent, to have a child, is a tough one, right? For any of us, I'm sure many out there look like you probably have had kids, maybe you have grandkids. That decision you don't take lightly usually. You know, there's a lot of responsibility, financial, nurturing, and things like that. One thing you don't think about is, you know, if the child ends up with a disability, what that might mean. That responsibility you have doesn't lessen, if you will, when they become an adult, when they become independent, when they do those things that, you know, you might expect the child that you think you're going to have is going to have. And so there's a lot of things you need to go through as part of that. And it's it kind of changes that responsibility and that thought process. You have to start planning for the future, not just for yourself and maybe when you retire, but also what about, you know, your daughter or your son or whoever that person is. It puts a lot of pressure on yourself, on your spouse, your relationship with them, their siblings, her sister Lila and Kyra and Sky, who can't be here. There's a lot to it, and there's a lot to think about. It's challenging, but at the same time, it's a responsibility that you accepted when you were born. So in that process, as we went through this over time, as she's grown up and become the wonderful lady that she is, what we learned were two very important things. The first one is that Tony is awesome, all right? You saw her smiling earlier, you saw her kind of talking and stuff. She's very loving, she's very caring, she does have an infectious smile. But what a person or a child or a sibling or a family member with disabilities gives you is that understanding that it's the little things, it's the breaking of that glass ceiling, if you will, every time when she does something that you didn't think she was going to do. You know, when she was little, just shortly before that video came out, we were fitting her for a wheelchair because they said she'd never walk. And she runs, you know, she walks, she does all kinds of things. She has come so far, gone beyond so many goals or limits, if you will, that people have set for her. And, you know, it's just an enjoyable thing. So that's the first thing. And the second thing I'll talk about in a minute, but I want to give her sister a chance to talk about what she gets and what she's learned from having a sister like Tony in her life and how it's so special for her.
So having a sister with a disability is interesting. I love her like any human being, just I make sure to help her out more than Sky or Kyra, which are my sisters. For example, I help her with chores and the dishes, so then she doesn't have to like break a plate or something. Then I also help her out with setting the TV on Netflix and that stuff because she can't find it out that simple way. So I need to help her out with that. I think Easter seals would makes Tony feel more to the real world than if she wasn't. She would be like in her room watching Netflix every day, not being able to do her chores. Finally, even though Tony plays as characters on her TV shows like Dean Winchester or Castiel, I want her to be the real Tony because I love the real Tony and she's my real sister.
Just a quick note in passing, I'd like to talk about how hard it is to let go. Like when she went to her formal dance with a bunch of her friends in a Jeep, and they took off into the sunset with the Jeep bouncing around. And but she had a great time, and it was great. Or when she went to a birthday party at the movies with a boy, and we let her go, we let it happen. But the best thing I can say about letting go is when she went to Easter Seals, and when she's with Tori, as you saw at the last part of that clip, it makes me feel so comfortable and so happy when she goes to work with Tori every day, and she's happy to go, because you know that she's not going to fake it. If she's not having fun, she's not having fun, but she is. So thank you. Nope.
Okay, so I mentioned the first thing earlier about Tony being awesome. The second thing that people, parents, family, siblings, everyone needs to realize is that you can't and shouldn't do alone. One thing we learned at a young age, well, younger than we are now, was that there are programs out there are services, and we found Easter Seals when Tony was little. In that video was around the age when we first worked with Easter Seals, and they helped her with her physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and it was services that at that stage in our life we couldn't really afford on our own if we didn't have the assistance and the guidance and the services that an organization like Easter Seals can provide. So you need to do that, So now Tony's in this program. So what happens next? Because things are always changing. So we're setting goals higher. She likes to work with kids. She works in daycares. We need to get her into CPR classes and other classes, and we're working with Easter Seals and other organizations to try to make that happen. After she gets done with that, then it's a question of what happens when my wife and I maybe aren't able to care for her anymore. What's going to happen next? Of course, we'll talk to her siblings, her sisters. We'll try to find plans for her and obviously secure her financial future. But in that process, I can guarantee you, it's kind of like Nancy Rollins in the beginning was talking about, does Easter Seals do that? Or I didn't know they did that. Well, it's the same sort of thing. They do a lot of things. And I certainly don't know everything they do. But we will be reaching out to Easter Seals as we go forward. We will be working with them. We've known them for many years. They're a great organization, and Tony loves it. She gets up for work in the morning, and she's happy. She comes home smiling, so that's all that matters. Thank you. Do you want to say anything? Yes or no? Do you want to say anything? Yes or no?
Sure.
So say something. Go ahead.
Whew. Oh. Hello. Y'all might know me. I'm Tony, Tom and Cindy's daughter. Thank you.
You ready? We're going to go down this way, okay?